I loved Dug Days. I loved Up, and so getting a continuation of that story in some manner was fabulous for me. Bob, you got to write Doug, direct Doug. You were Doug. What is it like to juggle all of these different roles?
Well, I mean, it can get confusing. I mean, sometimes I'll launch into direct, but in the voice of Doug, it's like, wait, no, that's not supposed to. But it all kind of happens in compartments. The writing happens, and the good thing is I have kind of Doug now in my DNA from Up, and so I could write the dialogue. I thought about my own dogs and the things they do, and then it came time to record, and so that was its own sort of season. And then it became time to direct animation and layout and lighting. And again, that was its own thing. So it kind of split up. But, recording Doug, I had to do it on my own sometimes. And, you never know if you're quite getting it. And it took me about 2 weeks to get back into the character and find it again, and I'm older now. And so I have a little bit of gruff in my voice. So I had to try to figure out a way to make Doug seem like Doug and not like Roz,
Right. Oh, it's like directing yourself. Like, no, do it better.
Yeah, I was really hard on myself.
I'm really hard on himself.
I'm a jerk. I made myself not eat dinner, and it was awful.
Oh my gosh. Kim, you also worked on Up. You did work on Up, right?
Yes.
So how different was it approaching it from this production angle or producer angle?
Oh, interesting question. So I came on to Up. It was already going. Actually, Bob and I don't think we were ever, you were front end. I was more the back end, the production kind of, once it was really going through. Mm-hmm. So, I came into it in that regard. Whereas with Doug, I had to build it from the ground up. We just had the scripts, and we had, long dormant characters and to resuscitate. So, I just went into it with the spirit of how amazing it was to work on Up. What a great team that the producer, Jonas Rivera, built. And my production manager at the time, Mark Nielsen. Mark's one of the executive producers on Up, along with Pete Docter, the director. And they set such a tone. It's like, it was an honor for me to try to just be able to extend that into this production.
I love that. Speaking of, long dormant characters, of course, we know that we're going to get to see Doug and Carl, but were there any conversations about who we would get to see when? Okay, we're going to bring in Russell maybe, or maybe not. What was the decision-making process there?
Well, we certainly wanted to bring Russell in because they're the sort of the big three. And we thought of Kevin as being back now, safe with her babies and raising her little chicks. And so maybe we'll see Kevin again someday. But for now, we thought, well, let's just keep it these three. And Russell took us a while to sort of rebuild for the present generation of technology. And so we started with some episodes without him. And then I wanted him to be able to move in next door to sort of point toward the future. And so we had to have Russell, just had to. The funny thing was that, we would have to go find a new voice, and the kid that played Russell was so good. And this happens right after Up. I thought, well, why not? Let's just use dialogue that wasn't used in Up. And
so it was okay. So it's like the B-sides of Russell.
The B-sides, exactly. And man, there were some great B-sides back there. That little song he sings, it's like, I talked to Pete Docter. Do you remember that little song? Why didn't we use that little song? It's so cute. And it was a grand experiment. I don't think too many people attempt this, but we've mined all the gold we could find. And now I don't know that we could do it again. So, but boy, that was fun making it so that it was those voices from the movie.
Yeah. Oh. There's, I guess the next time I have to find like an imitation artist, right? Someone who's just going to do the exact same voice. Exactly. Now, Kim, I know that the quarantine obviously must have affected the process for you guys in one way or another. So what were the biggest changes for you guys when the things happened?
Oh, well, Pixar culture is very collaborative, and we are physically in rooms together for a lot of the day. We're always in a screening room and there's 30 people packed in there, or in meetings, and always like moving around to each other's offices. So all of that wiped away. So once we got over some of the technical hurdles of just getting everyone's internet to be fast enough and making sure they had all their equipment, and, that everything was secure in our setups, we had to figure out, how do you get that collaborative culture into these small little windows? And, it was a process. We all fumbled through, found our way together. I think sort of one of the lovely, unexpected, joys of it is that we did all fumble through it together. And, there was a lot of just acceptance across the board, and just figuring out that new way of working together. And everyone wanted to recreate, however best we could, that team collaboration. And we got there.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like it almost brought out the best in a lot of people, this situation. So it's good.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you had to be a little improvisational, do more with less, and communicate more. And Kim talks about this, how people would sit down on each other's meetings and learn more about things just on Zoom than they might have been able to do with real meetings.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
that's pretty cool. I know that you talked about the fireworks incident, Bob, being sort of inspired by your own dog. So I was just wondering, are there other episodes or Doug moments that either were inspired by your dog, or that were kind of like took longer to come up with? That was like a surprising route to get there.
I'm an old man now with a bad memory. Yeah, thanks, Tatiana. That was one of them. Just thinking through in the first episode with the squirrel. I've noticed whenever I do any woodworking or any kind of project, my dog's over my shoulder. What are we doing today? And dogs love a great project. I've said that many times. In fact, I had Carl say that, and we had to take it out for time, but dogs like a great project. And that idea of Doug climbing into his lap while he's trying to build things, that came from my dog as well. Just a lot of different things, the idea of squirrel itself, was, me and my dogs just sitting, relaxing, and I'd kind of do a take just to see what it would do. And it would stop breathing and then back relaxed. And it's kind of the beginning of that squirrel, that kind of feeling. And so there's so much of my dogs, Pete's dogs, and in this one, all of our dogs.
Oh, I love that.
Kim's dogs, everybody.
Dogs immortalized in animation. Well, thank you so much. It was great fun. I hope for and cannot wait for season 2. So thank you guys so much.